ndio ufanya kazi mtaani, Mheshimiwa Rais. Na unajua Kanairo wamama ndio ushikilia, Mheshimiwa Rais. Kwa hivyo wanaomba tu, kuna wale wa 45 kurudi chini, wasaidiwe hapo. Jambo la kwanza hiyo. Jambo la pili, wamesema, lakini Mheshimiwa Rais ameshasema hii empowerment atawafanyia, lakini wacha ni repeat. Empowerment huko nje inatembea, lakini ya Kanairo inakuja moto na yeye mwenyewe anaipanga. Sawa? Hiyo ni ya pili. Ya tatu, wanaomba amani. Wamesema Kanairo, sisi hatuna kabila. Kabila ni sisi hatutakubali mali ivunjwe Kanairo. Na sisi kina mama hivi karibuni tutajitoa kwa hii kiwanja, tutembee Nairobi yote, tuambie watu damu Nairobi hatuta. Wale waliamua wanataka wanao ndio wajui maisha kwa Biblia ni dhambi kubwa damu kumwagika bure. Kwa hivyo sisi tunasema vijana, shikilieni hapo. Tusemezane. Na uwezi semezana kama kelele ni mingi. Hata Biblia inasema anga, hasira, hasara. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi zungumza Kenya tukiwa na hasira. Na shida si Mheshimiwa Rais. Shida ilianza kitambo. COVID ikakuja ikanyanyua. Hata ni Mungu bado tunapumua. Kwa hivyo tujue shida si Mheshimiwa Rais. Shida ni sisi wote wa Kenya. Tunapoamka asubuhi, jiulize wewe huwa unafanya nini kujenga Kenya mpya? Na kama wewe ndio unabomoa, sitabomoka. Shida ni Mheshimiwa Rais. Tunaambiaje Mheshimiwa Rais? Tunamwambiaje Mheshimiwa Rais? Haya, tunataka kumwimbia Mheshimiwa Rais maana kuna baridi. Aingie na styro, si ndio? Wana wa mbere bayaye we. Wana wa mbere ni Ruto yo. Dera tengo bote mwakula. Mufwale mwana.
Aya. Wananchi wa Kanairo hamjambo. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Hebu mnisalimie mikononi nione watu wa Nairobi. Asanteni sana. Basi, kwanza mimi nimesema poleni, nimekuja asubuhi sana. Nilikuwa nikuje kidogo iko sawa? Hiyo ya mapema ndio best. Basi, leo mimi nimefika hapa kwa sababu tuko na mpango, na ni mpango wa kubadilisha Kenya. Na hiyo mpango inahusikana na program yetu ya affordable housing. Mimi wakati wa uchaguzi nilisema tutapanga ajira ya vijana kupitia kwa mpango huu wa housing. Na housing sio ile ya wananchi peke yake. Ya wananchi ni muhimu. Na munaona Kenya mzima saa hizi tuko na nyumba 1170 tunaendelea kujenga, na zingine 1700 ziko njiani katika mpango wa affordable housing. Lakini mbali na hiyo, vile vile hatuchaacha askari wetu nyuma. Hawa askari ambao wanatusaidia kulinda maisha yetu, kulinda mali yetu, kuhakikisha kwamba kuna usalama katika taifa letu, pia wao wanafaa kuishi mahali ambapo pako na heshima. Tunaelewana jameni? Na ndio sababu hiyo hawa askari wetu wa polisi katika hii mpango ya housing tunawajengea nyumba 27,000 kufikia sasa. Hapa Kilimani tunajenga hii nyumba 540 ya askari wetu. Mnajua askari hawa wamekuwa wakiishi mahali ambapo sio mzuri, wanaishi mahali penye msongamano, hawawezi kuishi na familia zao, na ni wazazi kama sisi. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Ndio sababu tumeamua kama serikali ya kwamba wakati tunapanga program ya Housing Kenya, ili tuwaokoe wananchi wengi wanaishi katika vitongoji duni, wale wanalipa rent tuwapatie mpango ya kulipa mortgage, na hawa askari vile vile baada ya kuishi nyumba ya hema wakuje hapa waishi mahali pazuri, watoto wao waishi mahali pazuri, wasome, na vile vile watusaidie katika kujenga taifa letu la Kenya kwa kuhakikisha kwamba mali na maisha ya Wakenya iko salama. Tumekubaliana jameni? Na katika sehemu hii sasa hapa nimeambia waziri ya kwamba tunataka hii kazi vile inaendelea polepole. Tunataka tuongeze vijana hapa ambao watakuwa wanafanya kazi. Hawa vijana wanafanya kazi hapa ni wachache. So Bwana Hinga na Mama Alice, mimi nataka tuhakikishe ndani ya mwezi moja ama mwezi mbili tumebadilisha mwenendo, ili vijana zaidi ya wale wanafanya hapa wakuje hapa, tuharakishe hii kazi ili ikamilike ndani ya mwaka moja. Ndio wananchi askari wetu wapate mahali pa kuishi, na wananchi zaidi na vijana zaidi wapate ajira. Ndio mimi nataka niwaeleze wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Tunaelewana jameni? Tatizo kubwa Kenya tuko nayo ni vijana wengi wamemaliza shule lakini hawana kazi. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Na ili vijana wapate ajira lazima kuwe na mpango. Vijana hawawezi kupata ajira kiholela. Vijana hawawezi kupata ajira tukiharibu mali, tukilete fujo na tukiharibu amani. Vijana watapata kazi kama tuko na mpango. Na mimi nilisema ya kwamba tutakuwa na taratibu ya sawasawa ya kupanga ajira ya hawa vijana. Tukiongea saa hizi, tuko na vijana kama hawa wanafanya kazi katika program ya affordable housing, vijana 1320 Kenya mzima. Tuko na miradi kama hii 200 kila sehemu ya Kenya. Na kuna vijana kama hawa wanafanya kazi asubuhi ya leo katika hiyo miradi. Hawa vijana hawakukuwa nafanya kazi kwa sababu program hii haikukuweko. Now we have a program yenye itahakikisha kwamba vijana wa Kenya, maengineer, masorovea, wale architects, plumbers, technicians, hawa steel fixers, wale masons wanafanya kazi. Tunaelewana jameni? Kazi ya pili ambayo tumepanga ni kuhakikisha kwamba katika mitandao inaitwa digital jobs. Tuko na vijana wengine zaidi ya 1180 wanafanya kazi katika program ya digital jobs. Tuko na vijana wengine zaidi ya 1400 tumewapanga na ajira katika sehemu tofauti tofauti nje ya Kenya. In the last, kwa mwaka mmoja umepita ama miaka miwili imepita, vijana wengi hawa 320,000 wanafanya kazi affordable housing. 400,000 tumewapatia kazi sehemu tofauti tofauti duniani, in different countries. Almost 200,000 wanafanya kazi katika mitandao. That is how we are going to create opportunities for young people to work. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Unajua kuna watu wanachochea vijana. Wanachochea vijana waharibu mali, wachome biashara, wachome mali ya watu wengine, wakisema ya kwamba hawa vijana wanachoma mali kwa sababu hawana kazi. Mimi nataka niwaulize, supermarket ikichomwa, biashara ya mtu ikichomwa, ndio kazi itapatikana? Ndio kazi itapatikana? Mimi nataka niulize swali lingine. Unajua kuna watu wanataka kutuhadaa ya kwamba vijana wote walikuwa wanafanya kazi kabla Ruto hajakuwa rais. Mimi nataka niwaulize, Kenya hii, mnataka kuniambia vijana wote walikuwa na kazi kabla ya mimi kuwa rais? Hii kazi ya unemployment imeanza mimi nikiwa rais. Si ni shida imekuweko siku nyingi. Sasa tuambiane ukweli. Na mimi nataka niseme hapa tukiwa Nairobi, tuwache kudanganyana. Kama watu wako na maneno waseme. Na mimi nimechangia sehemu ya kuhakikisha kwamba vijana wamepata kazi. Nimechangia vijana 1320 kwa affordable housing. Nimechangia vijana karibu 1200 kwa digital jobs. Nimechangia kazi majuu ile tumepanga na nchi zingine, karibu vijana 1400 wamepata kazi. Mimi nauliza, vile mimi nimetoa orodha ya yale nimefanya vijana wapate kazi, nataka watuambie zile serikali ingine walifanya kazi gani? We must tell each other the truth. Tuwache kuwachochea vijana wa Kenya. Kazi ya unemployment haikuanza wakati wa serikali hii. In fact, shida ya unemployment ni kwa sababu hatujakuwa na mpango wa taratibu ya serikali vile nimeweka. Ndio tumekuwa na mrindiko mkubwa, a huge pileup of unemployed youth, because we have never had a comprehensive plan to make sure that young people have jobs the way we have it today. And therefore, let us not deceive ourselves, and let us not incite the young people of Kenya on matters unemployment. It cannot be sorted out in one day. It was never sorted out by the previous administrations. I am working on it now. That is why we have 320,000 young people working in our affordable housing. That is why we have 200,000 young people working in our digital jobs framework. And that is why we have 400,000 young people working outside Kenya today. Because for the first time, we have a plan on sorting out the challenge of unemployment. The reason why this problem is bigger than what it should be is because there has never been any plan before. And we must tell each other the truth. Sio kama tunaelewana jameni. Unajua watu wanataka kududanganya ni kama hawa vijana walikosa kazi ati wakati mimi nimekuwa rais. Mimi nataka niwaulize, kwani vijana wote Kenya hii walikuwa na kazi kabla ya mimi kuwa rais? Tuache upuzi bwana. Hiyo ni upumbavu hiyo. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Tuko pamoja? Tunaelewana? So mimi nataka niwaambie viongozi hawa wa kuishiwa hawa, kwa sababu wanazunguka hapa town. Kwanza niliona ati wanasema ati sasa hawatangojea 2027 ati tupige kura. Ati wanataka kupanga fujo. Ati wapange maandamano. Ati wachome mali ya watu. Ati walete maafa Kenya. Ati ndio wapindue serikali ya Kenya kabla ya 2027. Mimi nataka niwaambie wajaribu. Watajua hawajui. Wajaribu. Allah. Hii ni Kenya ya demokrasia, my friends. Kenya ni nchi ya demokrasia. Hamuwezi kutuambia ya kwamba mnaweza kupanga fujo ati mpindue serikali ya Kenya. Tafuteni vizuri. Sijui kama tunaelewana. I want to tell those characters, the ones who are telling us, giving us lectures, that they can change this administration using unlawful, using violence, using unlawful means at before 2027. Let them try. Tunaelewana? Wajaribu. Hii ni nchi ya demokrasia na wananchi ndio wanaamua kwa debe uongozi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Hatuwezi kuamua ati uongozi wa Kenya kupitia fujo ama kupitia vita ama kuharibu mali ya watu wengine. That is not going to happen in this country. Sijui kama tunaelewana jameni. Tuko pamoja? Wafikirie vizuri. Na mtu asini unajua wananiambia sijui nini, sijui Moi. Moi alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Vile Kibaki alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Vile Uhuru alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Na kabla ya Moi kulikuwa na Kenyatta. Na baada ya Moi kulikuwa na Kibaki. Na baada ya Kibaki kulikuwa na Uhuru. Hii kisirani ni ya nini? Hapana. Hiyo ni upuzi. Sio kama naelewana bwana. Tuko pamoja. Hii fujo yote wananiletea. Mbona hawakuletea Kibaki? Mbona hawakuletea Uhuru? Hii madharau na kiburi ni ya nini? Hapana, hiyo mchezo tuache. Sijui kama tunaelewana bwana. Let us sort out our problems. Tuache ukabila, tuache chuki, tuache kiburi, tuache madharau. Sisi wote ni wa Kenya. We are all Kenyans. Na hakuna Mkenya bora kuliko mwenzake. Sisi wote ni wa Kenya. Ama mnasemaje watu wa Nairobi? Tumekubaliana? Na kuna watu wanafikiria kwamba wataendesha fujo Kenya hii. Juzi wamechoma mali ya wananchi. Supermarket imeporwa. Wameharibu mali ya wananchi. Wameharibu biashara ya wananchi. Na wao ni viongozi wamechochea hiyo maneno. Wanalipa vijana kwenda choma biashara ya ule. Kwenda choma biashara ya ule. Wale wote ambao wamepatikana katika hiyo njama ya kuiba na kupora mali ya wananchi na kuchoma biashara za watu wengine watachukuliwa hatua ya sheria na wote watafungwa. Na wao viongozi wao, we are coming after you. You cannot sponsor violence in the Republic of Kenya and expect to go scot-free. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Na mimi nataka niwaambie wa Kenya, mtu yeyote ambaye anaenda kupiga polisi, mtu yeyote anaenda kuvamia police station, that is a declaration of war in the Republic of Kenya. It is not acceptable. Sijui kama tunaelewana my friends. No, enough is enough. Haiwezi kuendelea tena. I will protect property ya wananchi wa Kenya, maisha ya wananchi wa Kenya, biashara ya wananchi wa Kenya. It is the responsibility of the government of Kenya, which I lead, that is going to make sure hii vita ya kuharibu mali na kuchoma biashara ya watu itakoma. It must stop. Sijui kama tunaelewana. And we are going to use whatever means that is available to make sure that we stabilize the country. We cannot accept mayhem and anarchy to destroy the development we have in this country. Sasa mimi naulize watu wa hapa Kilimani. Nyumba tunajenga kama hii. Ati watu washenzi wanakuja kuwakisha moto wachome. Surely. Ni nchi tunajenga ama ni nchi tunabomoa? Alafu watu wanatuambia Kiingereza sijui siasa nini. Hapana, that will not go on. You can call me whatever names you want to call me, but I will make sure that there is peace and stability in Kenya by all means possible. Sio kama tunaelewana my friends. Hapana. Hii kuchoma mali ya wananchi itakoma. Mwananchi anahangaika miaka nyingi kutengeneza biashara yake. Mwananchi anapanga mambo yake. Alafu mtu mwanasiasa, mtu mjinga anakuja anapanga maandamano, anapanga fujo, mali ya mwananchi inaharibika, alafu wanatuambia ni siasa. Hiyo ni siasa gani? Hiyo ni siasa? Na kama wako na mpango, si tukutane 2027? Watengeneze sera yao, tukutane na hawa 2027. Njia ya mkato hapa katikati hakuna. Tumekubaliana watu wa Nairobi? Yes. Na wasikie vizuri. Wasikie vizuri. Na waelewe. Tumekubaliana Nairobi? Mnasema tuendelee na kufanya kazi? This country will not be destroyed by a few people who are impatient and who want to have a change of government using unconstitutional means. It is not going to happen. And I want to tell them it is not going to happen. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Tumeelewana? Yes. Na kama walikuwa wanafikiria ile walikuwa wanafikiria, wafikirie tena. Because mimi nimenyamaza, mimi nimewavumilia, lakini mahali imefika. Enough is enough. I want to say that for the avoidance of any doubt. Sijui kama tumeelewana jameni. Tumeelewana? Wacha nirudie. Those who attack our police, those who attack our security men and women, those who attack our security installations, including police stations, that is a declaration of war. That is terrorism. We are going to deal with you firmly. Tumekubaliana? Hii haiwezekani. We cannot have a nation that is run by terror. We cannot have a nation that is governed by violence. We cannot. And it will not happen under my watch. Tumekubaliana, my friends? Tafadhali watu wa Nairobi tuheshimiane bwana. Si kila mtu tuheshimiane? Tuheshimiane. Sisi wote ni wa Kenya. Allah. Ama namna gani? No. Anyway, tumekubaliana namna hiyo. Tumekubaliana? Wacha nimuite Jalash. Nafikiri ni mbunge wa hapa.
Asante sana rais. Tunapofika hapa Kilimani, tunamshukuru sana Mheshimiwa Elaji. MCA pia wamekuja kutembea nawe na wako hapa wote. MCA wa Nairobi kwa mikono tu. Alai pia yuko hapa. Aongee tu kidogo kurepresent wale wa huku Kilimani.
Dagoa. Mwana rais. Mnamwambia rais aje. Mnamwambia rais aje. Mnamwambia rais aje. Mheshimiwa rais, karibu sana. Mheshimiwa rais, yangu ni moja tu. Kwa sababu tumekuja police station, tunaomba tu kitu kimoja hapa Dago. Hao maaskari wanatusaidia sana. Na tunapatana nao kwa mambo mengi sana. Kileleshwa police station, Mudhangari, Kilimani. Asanteni sana kwa kutusaidia kulinda amani hapa. Mheshimiwa rais, hatujakuwa na vita hapa. Sasa naomba kitu kimoja kwa sababu tunafanya hii project. Hapa kuna ka restaurant ya maaskari. Naomba tu contractor atengeneze hiyo restaurant iweze kusaidia maaskari kujiburudisha saa zile wamemaliza kazi. Si ndio? Si askari pia ni poa? Sasa unaambia rais aje? Mwanaambia rais aje? Mmekaribisha rais? Naomba mheshimiwa MCAs wabebe tu mkono ni watambulishe. Niko na mheshimiwa Clarence Munga wa Niko na mheshimiwa Joyce special elect. Niko na mheshimiwa Lore. Niko na mheshimiwa Masitsa. Niko na mheshimiwa Kimondo. Haya. Unataka Clarence aongee? Clarence aongee? Haya.
Wananchi wa Dago, Rais mtukufu, kwa majina anajulikana kama Clarence Munga, MCA wa huko Kabiro. Last time ukiwa kule ulipita Kawangware, ukatupita pale Kabiro, ukaenda Gatina. Lakini tulikuwa na mengi sana ya kukuambia rais. Wananchi mtanikubalia? Rais, tu kwa jambo moja. Kuna barabara imetusumbua sana kwa muda mrefu kuanzia 2013. Hiyo barabara inaitwa Salim Road. The county government is unable to construct that road. Ninaomba tu ukipeana ishara watu wa Dagoretti watapona. Kitu ya pili rais, kumekuwa na vurugu huku na kule. Kawangware kulikuwa kumetulia. Sisi watu wa Kawangware tuko nyuma yako, tunakupenda. Shikilia hiyo steering vizuri sana na usitishwe na mtu. Ni sawa sawa? Asanteni watu wa Dagoretti, tunawapenda sana na Mungu awabariki.
Haya, naomba ni watambulishe tu MCS. Mheshimiwa Stazo whip wetu akuja tambulisha MCS alafu tumalize. Mheshimiwa Stazo.
Wana Nairobi mkoaje? Mko poa? Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi naitwa Stazo Omungala. Mheshimiwa Rais, leo umesema kitu ya maana. Hii nchi ni nchi ya kumcha Mungu. Na mambo ya siasa ni demokrasia. It's about the ballot. Hata hao ambao wanaleta shida walikuwa kwa ballot last election. Na wengine ulichaguliwa nao. So leo imekuwa aje? Sasa ile wako nje ndio inakuwa serikali ni mbaya. Na kama serikali ni mbaya, 2027 kwani ni mbali? Leo umeongea kitu ya maana Mheshimiwa Rais. Hii nchi umepewa panga ya kuchunga nchi. Hakuna mtu mwingine ana jukumu ya kuchunga nchi, ni wewe Mheshimiwa Rais. Hii nchi ikienda chini, wewe ndio tutakulaumu Mheshimiwa Rais. Na umepewa kila kitu ya kuchunga hii nchi. Umepewa dialogue, umepewa jeshi, umepewa polisi Mheshimiwa Rais. Kama raia hawezi heshimu polisi, nchi itatawala aje hapa Kenya Mheshimiwa Rais? Hiyo sisi tunakubak kwa sababu hata hao ambao wanataka kutawala hapo mbele, wanataka kutawala nchi, wanataka kutawala msitu. So Mheshimiwa Rais, tuko nyuma yako. So kwa hayo machache, Mheshimiwa Rais, niruhusu ni introduce MCAs wangu. Mimi ndio deputy whip hapa Nairobi. Hapa tuko na Kiogora MCA, tuko na Kimonda, tuko na Nairobi, tuko na Mark, tuko na VG, tuko na Lydia, tuko na Kimani, tuko na Shadi Boxer hapo, tuko na Clarence, tuko na chairlady wako wa UDA ambaye pia ni MCA, tuko na Nixo, tuko na Yuti pale, tuko na Oscar Lore, tuko na mrefu wa Ziwani, tuko na Ringo Mheshimiwa Rais, tuko na Jera, tuko na MCA Reki, tuko na Jekonia chairman wa Kibra ODM MCA, tuko na MCA wetu wa Kibra anaitwa Masita, tuko na Runi, tuko na MCA wa Njiru hapo, tuko na chair lady ODM na bado MCA mteule Catherine, tuko na Mofire. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki
sana. Haya. So nafikiri tumekubaliana. Hapa tuko na viongozi wengine wengi. Tuko na IG wetu Bwana Kanja, mpigeni makofi. Tuko na DIG wetu Bwana Masengeli, mpigeni makofi. Tuko na DCI wetu Bwana Amin, mpigeni makofi. Na officers wengine wengi. Tuko na mheshimiwa, tuko na PS wangu Bwana Omolo wa Interior yuko hapo. Tuko na PS wangu wa mambo ya housing, huyu mungwana ndiye anatusaidia kupanga hii manyumba, anaitwa Bwana Hinga. Na tuko na waziri Alice na viongozi wengine wengi hapo. So watu wa Nairobi nafikiri tumekubaliana. Huyu MCA wa kule nini amesema Kabiro, Bwana Munga amesema kuna barabara pale. Tayari mimi nimeongea na gavana wenu na nimetoa pesa 2.1 billion ya barabara ya Nairobi. So mutapangana na yeye, hiyo pesa imekuwa release tayari na barabara tutawajengea hapa Nairobi. Tumekubaliana jameni? Watu wa Nairobi tumekubaliana? Na tumeelewana? Tunataka amani Kenya. Tunataka watu wafanye biashara. So mtu ambaye anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu mwingine, mtu ambaye anachukua moto anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu, anaenda kuchoma mali ya watu wengine, mtu kama huyo apigwe risasi miguu, aende hospitali, akienda kotini. Yes. Wasimuue lakini wapige hii miguu ivunjike ndio aende kotini, aende hospitali, akienda kotini. Hapana. Hatuwezi kukubali mtu ambaye anaamuka kwake anaenda kuchoma mali ya mtu mwingine, biashara ya mtu mwingine. Iko haki hapo kweli? Hapana, hiyo mchezo watu waache. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka niseme askari wasipige wananchi risasi kuwaua. Lakini muhalifu, mtu ambaye amechukua kazi kwenda kuvunja biashara ya mtu mwingine, ashughulikiwe, aende hospitali, akienda kotini. Asante sana, Mungu awabariki.
President Ruto says we have a plan to send him home. It's a very important plan in the whole country. We have plans to restore the dignity of the payslip. We have plans to restore the health systems. We have plans to restore the education system. We have planned to have justified taxation and proper utilization of collected taxes. But all those things we have plans to stop abductions. We have plans to stop extrajudicial killings. All those things, Michelle, cannot happen when William Ruto is in office because he's the one who has messed the country. All his plans are responsible for the shit we are in as a country, for the hole we are in as a country. For those plans, President Ruto says we have no plan. We have a plan to send him home. It's a very important plan in the whole matrix.
And then what?
We have plans to restore the dignity of the payslip. We have plans to restore the health systems. We have plans to restore the education system. We have planned to have justified taxation and proper utilization of collected taxes. But all those things are, we have plans to stop abductions. We have plans to stop extrajudicial killings. All those things, Michelle, cannot happen when William Ruto is in office because he's the one who has messed the country. All his plans are responsible for the shit we are in as a country, for the hole we are in as a country. For those plans to take place, plan number one is William Ruto must exit the space, and then all the other plans can work. And that is why he says we have no plan, because the plan that we have is to exit him. Ordinarily, he wouldn't like it, and I don't want to blame me for it. But I want to say we have plans, but it's a prerequisite for all these plans to work, for us to stop corruption, for us to stop tribal appointments, for us to restore the dignity of the payslip, for us to restore education, the university financing model that can work, for us to restore health care and make sure that things are working. President William Ruto must be sent home. That is our plan. That is the plan of Gen Z. Indeed, it's a plan by the people of Kenya. As we go around the country, I heard him today crying about one term. There's nothing he can do. Okay. That is the clarion call, one term. We must have reasonable taxation. Michelle, the housing levy. Nobody wants government to construct houses for you. That's not the work of government. The work of government, Michelle, is to do roads, water, electricity, sewage, and create a good environment by provision of security. It's not the work of government to build houses. Michelle, you'll build your own house, depending on your capacity and your ability, So we are taxing people money to go and build houses that they don't need. Nobody is interested in that housing program. So that one we are going to scrap. We are going to scrap that the housing levy so that we start giving a relief to the payslip. The issue of NSSF, it's something that needs to be discussed. You cannot impose, force people to save, because people are saving on their own, by the way. And saving is an individual decision, Michelle. You may want to live your good life now when you are young and energetic, and you cannot force people to save. So that is something else we are going to look into. Again, Michelle, we want to tax people, and people have no problem with the taxation. What people want is proper utilization of their taxes. We don't want to tax people to go and put up, renovate state house and lodges for William Ruto. Those state houses have been there since 1900. He is spending billions of shillings renovating that state house like he's going to live there forever, or like it's his personal house. It isn't, We are saying that our administration will have reasonable taxation and will do proper utilization of those taxes to the benefit and satisfaction of the people of Kenya. Right. So that I explain to you exactly what is happening. William Ruto was elected by 47% of the people from the Mount Kenya region. Along the way, he betrayed the mountain people, he misused them, he lost their trust, and they abandoned him. He has tried every trick in the book to get them back, and it has become difficult. He has spent billions of shillings in empowerment programs, buying leaders and all that. It has become impossible. So a plot was hatched by Kipchumba Murkomen and a few other people surrounding the president to create havoc within the Mount Kenya region and then blame it on leaders who are popular in the region. This is what happened, Chair. How do you explain police stations are manned by police officers who are armed? They are attacked by people who are unarmed. They overpower them, take over a police station and touch it. It's a movie. No shooting, nothing. No resistance. Some people just walk into a police station, take it over and touch it. That is, and you are not even told the inmates who are in the cells, were they released or not? There is nothing. It was staged managed. This is what happened. Let me give you an example in Kikuyu. The office of the DCC was touched. The law courts were touched. They are guarded by police. Somehow the police were not there, and the torching went on. Then the leader of majority says, some gangs wanted to attack his father, who is 101 years, but he was not attacked. It was just an attempt, but he was not attacked. Yet the police station, the law courts are attacked. Higher, you go to Nyeri. They burn Naivas supermarket of some fellow there in Nyeri town. But the supermarket owned by the member of parliament for Kenny, there is an attempted attack, but it is not attacked because it is personal. It is not meant to be attacked. It's just something you are trying to do. Then you find here in Nairobi, at night, all businesses owned by people from the Mount Kenya region are attacked. Okay? You find that several businesses are attacked. Police are there. Nobody is arrested. Nobody is stopped. It's simply an onslaught on the community. Then the CS Interior comes and says, the goons in Nairobi were stranded, they were from Murang'a, they were from Nyeri, they were from Kirinyaga, trying to profile a community to show that this issue that happened in Nairobi was done by the people from the Kikuyu nation. Okay? Then the following day, go to parliament. The scheme was turn the people of Central Kenya against Rigathi Gachagua and other leaders who are popular in the region. That is why they attack in Olkalau. People have told us in Olkalau, all the goons who are there, none of them is a local. Yet they did it, police never did any action. This thing was managed by government to target Kikuyu business premises. And then later, Moses Wetangula allowed a debate in parliament for 2 hours to blame Rigathi Gachagua, to blame John Medhu, to blame John Kagushia, to blame Jane Kehara, to blame Mukonji, to blame all leaders who are popular in Central Kenya region, hoping and believing that the people of Central Kenya can believe that their leaders who are very popular and who are loved by the people had organized violence against them. This is what has happened. The people of that region are very enlightened as we speak today. And William Ruto drove a narrative and made the people of Central Kenya hate Uhuru Kenyatta. He said he's a drunkard, he's useless, he's this and that. And the people of Mount Kenya, I included, believed him. We turned against Uhuru Kenyatta and hated him. The people of that region have made a decision. They will never hate their leader. They will never turn against their leader. They have seen through that scheme that was done on Wednesday to target their businesses and then try to blame their leaders. Yeah, you know, even they were trying to say today, Kipchumba Murkomen was telling DCI, go and arrest Rigathi Gachagua, arrest Gakuya, arrest Major Dong, so that the Kikuyu people can believe that Rigathi Gachagua and Major Dong and Gakuya are the ones who touched property belonging to the Kikuyu. The Kikuyu people are very intelligent. William Ruto, the people see through you. You came and conned them. You turned them against their own son, Uhuru Kenyatta. You are not going to do it again. This time, they have seen through you. The government touched and raided businesses belonging to Kikuyu people on Wednesday, deliberately, under police guard, so that they can come and take the popular leaders in the region and blame them, hoping that they can hate Rigathi Gachagua, they can hate Medho, they can hate the other leaders, and prove back to William Ruto. William Ruto, let me tell you.
But there's been allegations,
whatever little chance that existed, that the mountain could ever listen to you. The events of Wednesday, of looting businesses owned by the Mount Kenya people, of torching them, of getting police to supervise the looting of their businesses, and then trying to blame their sons through parliament. That thing in parliament, it was a charity because, Michelle, if Rigathi Gachagua has broken the law, it is not parliament to say. You know, if Medho has broken the law, it is not parliament to say. It is not parliament to ask police to take action. If Kimani Ichung'wah, his father, was to be attacked, does he go to cry in parliament, or he goes and record a statement and say, Michelle or so-and-so came to attack my father? That was a stage-managed thing in parliament to try to persuade the people of Mount Kenya that all the businesses that were looted at night under police supervision, on the instructions of the government, they wanted to blame me and other people. We see through you. And I've told them, come and arrest me today. Go and arrest Kakuya. Go and arrest Major Dom.
So you don't fear arrest?
We don't fear the arrest. But all I can tell them, the people of our region and our supporters kept quiet when they removed us from office. I am a very peaceful man. I asked my people, please don't take any action. You are very unhappy with what William Ruto has done to us as a community by taking our seat, by embarrassing us. Please just sing. But I am saying, I no longer have the control of my supporters. They are angry, and any attempt to harass us, any attempt to intimidate us, will be dealt with by the people. I can tell you, he conned bishops, he conned reverends, he conned pastors, he conned all of us. He cannot do it a second time. This whole thing of Wednesday was a scheme by William Ruto to touch businesses belonging to the Mount Kenya people, loot them, and then try to blame it on their leaders so that they can hate us the way they hated Uhuru Kenyatta. Evidence do you need, Michelle? These businesses were touched when police are watching. These policemen belong to the government. What other evidence do you need? I'm asking, since Wednesday, Michelle, how many goons have been arrested? Protesters in Kerugoya were arrested, 25 are taken to court. The goons who touched a supermarket in Kerugoya have not been arrested. The goons who touched things in Nyeri have not been arrested. The people who touched things here in Nairobi and looted, they have not been arrested because they cannot be arrested because they were sponsored by the government. And everybody knows. And I want to tell my friend William Ruto, when you are in a hole, my brother, you stop digging. Don't dig deeper. You have persecuted our community. You have humiliated our community. You now have a scheme on how to destroy their businesses and try to blame their leaders, and then you want to persecute their leaders. The wall you are starting with the mountain and the people of Kenya, you will not be able to control it. You go ahead and do what you want to do. Kipchumba Murkomen, you say you want to arrest me tonight, please just go ahead. I'm here, you know where I am. You don't even have to wait for this interview. You can come after this. But I want to tell you, the people have had enough. You know, this persecution of the community, this humiliation of the community is too much, you know, and I don't think it's going to happen again. And the people are not going to allow it because where it has reached now, it's just too much, you know. How do you organize goons to destroy businesses belonging to a community that voted you into office under police supervision? Property must be protected, and if police had protected property, not kill protesters, protect property. Protect life and property. Don't take away life, either of the protesters or of ordinary people, and protect their property. That was my position. Police must use their arms to protect life and property, not to take away life. That was my position. The protest. It's a 2023 protest. And he did a good job in protecting life and property, you know, to make sure that property is not looted in Nairobi. And that was a good job. And even the police in this one, had they protected property, life and property, I would still say kudos. That is my position. But you do remember, Michelle, the Gen Z protest of 2024 is what created a very serious wedge between me and President William Ruto. Because I took a very firm position that these young people should be heard and what they are saying has merit. And I disagreed with the president in a discussion between me and him. And I told him that I disapprove of use of force against young people. And I did urge him to listen to them and consider doing away with the finance bill of 2024, which he refused. And when a decision was made to deal with these young people, I disagreed. And when the president insisted, and these young people were massacred on June 25, 2024, the following day on June 26, if you remember, as deputy president, I called a press conference in Mombasa and disassociated myself from the actions of the president and the government. And I was a sitting deputy president. And I said, I don't agree. The president had said these young people are criminals. I say they are not criminals. These are our children. These are my sons and daughters. They have a legitimate concern and they should not be massacred. And that created a very big problem between me and the president, and he was very offended. And he started in earnest to embark on how to get me out of office, which he successfully did on October 18th. But that was what broke the camel's back. And I told him off, and I disassociated myself from the killing of Jency, and I was in office. So let nobody say that Rigathi Gachagua is siding with the Jency or saying they should not be killed because he's out of office. I am on record, and videos are there, that I took a position in support of our young people when I was in office. I did. I did not support the use of excessive force. What I said, and I would repeat it any other day, the police have a duty to protect life and property, you know? And I asked IG, please protect property. And you remember what we saw on Wednesday did not happen in 2023. We asked the police, and I was in the forefront, that in any situation when there is unrest, when there is civil disobedience, when there is peaceful protest, in whatever circumstance, the police have a duty to protect life and property. That is my position. It is true as it was then, it is true as it is today. Had the police allowed the peaceful protest and then protect destruction of property from goons, we will not be speaking what we are speaking here today. I would still be saying the police have done a nice job had they protected property as they should. It's the height of impunity and arrogance by the Ruto administration and people who are close to him. Kipchumba Murkomen is a young, excited cabinet secretary, full of himself because of money and power. He cannot, against the law, give instructions to police to shoot, to kill. To start with, when he was in Senate, he said that the National Police Service is independent and he cannot give them directions on what to do. Then here again, he is asking the police to shoot, to kill anybody within the vicinity of a police station. To start with, a police station is a public institution, and members of public have every right to go to a police station. Even where you have protected areas like State House and installations of the Department of Defense, if people turn up there, you don't shoot them. You find out why they are there and arrest them if they are there for interior motive and charge them. Again, let me tell police officers. I had Kipchumba Murkomen telling police officers to shoot people and he'll protect them. That is a lie, and they should not believe him. And I want to tell the police officers, they have seen what has happened. The police officers who tortured and killed Albert Ojwang today are in custody. They are before court on their own. They are facing murder charges. Yet the man who gave them instructions is at home doing his own things. Let me tell the police officers in our country, they are my brothers and sisters, they are my sons and daughters. Please follow the law. Don't take that stupid instruction from Kipchumba Murkomen seriously, because you shoot somebody, you'll be arrested and taken to court. And I have told police officers to be very careful. I worked with William Ruto and people close to him. They are users. They'll use you, and when things get out of hand, they'll sacrifice you at high noon. I want to urge all police officers across the country not to agree to obey unlawful orders, not to agree to break the law. And I want to guide them for the last time. The work of our police officers, I was an officer in the security sector, is guided by 4 documents that are very, very important. The Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Penal Code Cap 63, the Criminal Procedure Code Cap 75, and Evidence Act Cap 80. Those 4 documents should guide any police officer in this country. And any time they are told to do something by their superiors, they should refer to those 4 documents. And if they find that whatever they are being asked to do is contrary to what is contained in those 4 documents, they must politely tell their seniors they are not able to do it. And if their seniors insist, they should ask for something in writing. They should ignore what Kipchumba has said. Kipchumba Murkomen is those young boys around William Ruto with a bloated ego, with a lot of arrogance, with a lot of impunity. And I had problems initially when William Ruto wanted to appoint Kipchumba Murkomen as CS Interior when we just came in. And I told him this job requires somebody a little bit mature, somebody who can be able to regulate the security sector with a bit of knowledge and understanding and calmness.
Okay, let's hold
the way he is going, we are going to have a lot of problems in the security sector.
Yes.
First and foremost, let me take this opportunity to send my condolences to the families of the 15 young people who are shot by police. Let me also, say sorry to all those who are injured, and let me also empathize with the business people who lost billions of shillings to looting and other activities that took place. Michelle, I don't have an answer to such a question because it is totally misinformed, and government people want to run away from the truth. And this government continues to sink in more trouble because of burying their head in the sand. Anytime Kenyans have expressed themselves about their dissatisfaction with the way the country is being run, the way the country is being governed, it is said that those people have been financed, they have been mobilized, they have been incited, and therefore they will never address the real problem. What happened on Wednesday, Michelle, was the first anniversary of the Gen Z massacre of 2024 that was presided over by William Ruto and executed by Kithure Kindiki. And you know for sure how many people died after very serious abductions and extrajudicial killings. The Gen Z protests of 2024 was a spontaneous reaction by young people protesting, the issues of the Finance Bill 2024, mismanagement of the country, corruption, and general impunity that has been exhibited by this administration. The president then, under the pressure of the Gen Z, undertook to address all the issues that the Gen Zs had raised. But once he was able to bring Raila on his side, and he got the political comfort that with Raila Odinga he doesn't need anybody else and nobody else can threaten his rule, he backtracked on all the issues that have been raised. And a lot of impunity has been exhibited in this country. And when it came to the first year anniversary, the young people once more came out. Michelle, the Gen Z protests do not need anybody to finance them. The Gen Zs are leaderless, they are tribeless, they have no structure, they have no organization. And again, Michelle, I think it is really playing around with the people of Kenya to imagine that Rigathi Gachagua or anybody else can coordinate activities in 26 counties at the same time. And the issue is this, the question one must ask yourself, and that is why the government must stop taking people for granted. If these activities were planned, we have the National Intelligence Service. Where were they? If they did not know, then they slept on the job. They are not supposed to be in office. If they knew and did nothing about it, again, they are guilty of failing to stop anarchy and violence. But from where I sit, Michelle, the protests were very peaceful. The Gen Zs were not violent. They had water, they had smartphones. The violence was brought about by infiltration by goons who looted shops, escorted by police. You have seen videos all over, thugs creating mayhem as police watch. You have seen videos, some thugs arriving in police vehicles, So, and as we speak today, many protesters were arrested, others were killed. Not a single goon was shot or arrested. As we speak, this happened on Wednesday. Today is Friday. All the people who looted shops, videos are there, the images are clear. None has been arrested. That Asia's Interior is walking in the streets of Nairobi in the morning, and you are saying that was an attempted coup. If they had intelligence that goons had been paid by Rigathi Gachagua or anybody else, why didn't they arrest these goons? If these were my goons, I want to tell you, Michelle, today they would have been shot dead. They would be in custody. Why, if they had intelligence that Rigathi Gachagua or anybody else for that matter had paid goons to come and cause chaos in Nairobi, why didn't they act on that intelligence? Why did they supervise the goons wreaking havoc in the streets of Nairobi? How did like the people of Kenya? People are not that stupid, you know? It is very evident that in Nairobi, the Rio goons came after 6 p.m. and downtown, River Road, Nyamakema, Taveta Road, Lithuri Avenue, the havoc, the looting was done in darkness under police supervision. Why were these guns not shot? Why were these thugs not shot? Why were they not arrested? And if anybody had funded them, the first evidence would have been to arrest those people, and then they can give information as to who had funded them. Right. Why would a government let goons create mayhem under their supervision, under their very eyes, for a whole day, for the whole night without taking any action? It's not my responsibility to stop goons from going to Nairobi. It is not my responsibility to arrest goons. That is the responsibility of government. These are people who are paid by taxpayers to make sure that they protect life and property. It is not the work of Rigathi Gachagua to go to the streets of Nairobi and protect life and property. I don't have such capacity. That is the work of the government. And they cannot shift blame and start saying, no, these goons were organized by so and so. Why did you allow them to terrorize Kenyans? Why did you allow them to loot property? What have you done since they did that? You know, even as you are looking for whoever could have sent them, why didn't you deal with them on the spot? Because you have seen videos, Michelle. Goons raiding supermarkets as police watch. You have seen videos, goons having conversation with police officers. You saw during the demonstrations against the death of Albert Ojwang, goons singing praises in the praise of Governor Nairobi outside City Hall. Today, it is now 2 weeks. None has been arrested. Those images are there. That is not in a police vehicle. Who owns that police vehicle? That is the state. If you see goons wreaking havoc and police are just watching, you don't need rocket science to know who has sponsored the goons. You know, if goons are wreaking havoc the whole day and none has been arrested, it's obvious who has brought those goons, because the government cannot arrest their own goons. If these goons were brought by the opposition, as they are alleging, Michelle, all of them would be custody, they would be in court. But these goons have not been arrested, and they cannot be arrested because they were brought by the state. I didn't want to join the protests. First and foremost, during the 2024 protests, the Gen Z asked us, the leaders, the elders, to keep off the protests. And that is as it should be, because they don't want to be owned by anybody, because they are not at the direction of anybody. They are not financed by anybody. These are our young people who are bright, who are intelligent, who are innovative, who are doing their own things. I think if I had turned up in the streets on Wednesday, it would have given credence to those very ridiculous accusations that I'm the one who finances Gen Zs. I deliberately kept off because the Gen Zs had asked us to keep off. Again, I have nothing to do with it. I'm not their leader, I'm not their financier. I just support them morally. You know, I am in support of their cause, that we shouldn't have abductions, we shouldn't have extrajudicial killings. But I had no business, you know, going to join them in the streets, because that is their thing. And it is leaderless, it is tribalist, it is not political. It is something by our young people as part of their patriotic duty and civic duty to have the country, you know, run in the right direction. We are not political rejects, because the people of Kenya never rejected me. It's William Ruto who rejected me. Justin Muturi was not rejected by the people of Kenya. He was rejected by William Ruto. Mithika Linturi was rejected by William Ruto. It's only William Ruto who rejected us. William Ruto is not the equivalent of the people of Kenya. That anybody he has a problem with is a reject. And you must ask yourself, where is the problem here? These are all people who supported William Ruto. But he has disagreed with all of them, and he says they are incompetent. According to him, he is the only one who is competent. But you must ask yourself here, who is competent? Because after I have left, nothing has changed. After Kuria left, nothing has changed. Muturi has left, nothing has changed. Linturi has left, nothing has changed. What is the common denominator here in terms of failure? It's William Ruto in matters of incompetence. When he came in as president, we had a working health system. Today it has collapsed. When he came in, we had a working university financing model. It has collapsed. When he came in, roads were going on across Kenya. They have all stalled. So in matters incompetence, it's William Ruto who is incompetent. But he is very quick. It's like in the streets when pickpockets or fellows who do mugging, you know, they would steal something from you, then shout, thief, 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 thief. That is what William Ruto does, to hide his own incompetence. He has changed his cabinet 4 times. Nothing has changed. So what is the common denominator? That there is failure in government in Kenya, that nothing is working. So you cannot say that we have been rejected by who? We have been rejected by one person, and as it works, the people of Kenya are also rejecting him because with the time they have realized where the problem is. ANC are very bright people. They are marvelous young people. I have such tremendous respect for them. You know, they know who they can trust in this country. The Gen Z know at their lowest moment when they were being killed and massacred by William Ruto and Kithure Kindiki, when everybody was demonizing them, when William Ruto was calling them criminals, who came to stand for them? It was Rigathi Gachagua. I sacrificed my job as deputy president, a very good job with the parks, with security, with all obedience, you know, and I said, I want to start with these children. And I attracted the wrath of William Ruto for starting with these young people. It's these young people, the Gen Z, who will look at the whole political landscape and will decide where they want to place their trust. And I think they are intelligent enough to know what they want to do. I don't want to force myself on the Gen Z. All the time I'm being accused of funding them or financing them, you know. And what has happened is that the Gen Z have appreciated me and accepted me because I'm always being accused of being their leader, of being the one who is financing them, who is doing this and that. But all I have done is stand with them and stand for them, and I'll continue to do so. And I'm sorry, I'm told that they have taken away the security of Chief Justice David Maraga because of appearing to support the Gen Zs. That is how petty this administration is. That is Kipchumba Murkomen. If somebody is seen in the streets, you know, it's democracy. Going to show solidarity with the Gen Zs is part of our democracy. Now, taking away the security of David Maraga because he was in the streets, you know, it's a lot of, it's pettiness. It's very petty. Matters of a retired president, nobody lesser than the person of the president can make a decision about their lives. Okay? There is nobody who can withdraw the security of Uhuru Kenyatta without asking William Ruto. There is nobody who can touch his farm without asking William Ruto. It's as short as that. And William Ruto knew what he planned, and then he went out of the country so that it could look like we are the ones who are doing it. But I want to tell you from practice, and you can find out, matters to do with a retired president are decided by the president himself. And that settles the matter as to who could be responsible in doing this or not.
What I'm about to say may sound insensitive, but this is the truth. Parliament is 2 kilometers from State House. For the first time since 1962, Parliament was overrun. What happened? How did we get here? Who knew what? We have swept too much under the carpet. It's now time to lift that carpet and be truthful in the way in which we deal with the country. Whether we start with Musandu, we come to Jacob Juma, we come to Kenei, we come to Rivayala and everything else. Let these things be investigated by an open public inquest.
Ever since the former Interior Cabinet Secretary, Fred Matiang'i, made his 2027 presidential ambitions public, the political heat in the country has escalated to an extent that William Ruto and his camp has not been able to hold back. They have consistently dragged Matiang'i's name into the murky water of Rivayala killings.
Wakaambua kazi yenu badala ya kuchukua watoto wa watu kama unamshuku na kumpeleka kotini, walikuwa wanapiga risasi wanatupa kwa mto Yala. Rais William Ruto wakati alifika ametupilia mbali kikosi hicho, sababu yeye ni mtu anaamini Mungu na anajua maisha iko na dhamani.
Trying to tie his name to the extrajudicial killings that happened during the Ruto era. For those of you who have forgotten what happened during the Yala killings, bodies with signs of torture were found in River Yala.
Between July 2021 and January 2022, police reports show that tens of Kenyans were abducted, tortured and murdered, with their decomposing bodies later discovered in different parts of the country. No words could explain the monstrous killings.
The body had some visible tortures.
Wameuawa kifo ya unyama vibaya sana.
That 5-year-old Peter Mutuku and that 6-year-old Philemon Chepkonyi were victims of the killings.
Alikuwa ametoa ulimi like this.
Hatukuwa tukiexpect tunapata bradhangu kwa moka.
Their remains were among 36 bodies retrieved from River Yala.
It looks like they were eliminated somewhere out of the county.
Body inawekwa kwa gunia, inashonwa mzuri.
Some of them are maroon, having their eyes closed.
The families have since buried their kin, and no one seems to be giving Kenyans an answer on the underworld dealing behind the unfortunate killings.
I do miss him every day. Bado inatuumizanga sana. Ni uchungu.
To IG to come out clearly and tell Kenya why they are killing people in Nairobi and dropping people in River Yala.
It is estimated that over 60 bodies were dumped there. Residents at a time reported that pickups and probox could bring people at night and dump them there, others in sacks. That's how bad the situation was during that time. But now, ladies and gentlemen, in what seems to be a political retaliatory explosion, Fred Matiang'i has fired back to William Ruto, vowing to expose what he called the faces behind some of Kenya's most controversial extrajudicial assassinations.
When you wake up in the morning, when you saw the things you saw yesterday, how can you assume that we don't have a problem in the country? Tuko na shida. And the sooner we all accepted that we have a problem, the better. Tuko na shida, let us find solution to this. You know, going around and assuming that everything is fine and dandy, and then now we spend time, managing government by blogging. It cannot work like that. We cannot have government by blogging. Let's focus on the issues that we need to deal with. Let us address the lives of our people, and this issue should be investigated. We have swept too much under the carpet. It's now time to lift that carpet and be truthful in the way in which we deal with the country. Whether we start with Musandu, we come to Jacob Juma, we come to Kenei, we come to River Yala and everything else. Let these things be investigated by an open public inquest.
Like those ones of Sergeant Kibyekon Kenei, an AP police officer who was attached to the office of the then Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto, and also the murder of Chris Musando, an IEBC official, and in this case, the director of ICT, the person who held the voters register and the fingerprints to the register machines. He also vowed to expose the faces behind the killings of a businessman from Bungoma, Jacob Juma. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move too deep into explaining why this move by Fred Matiang'i could be too dangerous politically for William Samoei Ruto, allow me to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Take a moment, hit the subscription button, smash the notification bell, and press the like button on this video. By doing like that, ladies and gentlemen, you help me to reach a wider audience. And for those who have already subscribed to the channel, I say thank you. For without you guys, this channel could not be where it is at the moment. Sergeant Kipyegon Kenei was a disciplined administration police officer and the head of security personnel at William Samoei Ruto's office, then the Vice President at Arambe House Annex. He was found murdered in his home, in his own house, in Imara Daima in Nairobi. His death initially was investigated as a suicide case, but later on, the then DCI George Kinoti found out that it was a brutal murder.
We have endeavored to
give some illustrations of how the body was found and the possible way we could have expected in the event this was suicide. Was the scene, the way it was found, consistent with the allegation that he committed suicide?
Ladies and gentlemen, before his murder, just a day before the day he was killed, Sergeant Kinei was supposed to appear before the DCI to record a statement on the appearance of the then CS4 Sports, Rashid Echesa, who was implicated in a 40 billion arms scandal that also involved the office of the Deputy President then, William Ruto. Kinei was to record a statement a day before he was killed. It was assumed that Kinei knew a lot in this case and his elimination was to be permanent. And then comes now the case of Jacob Juma, a vocal businessman and a very fierce government critic who had on several occasions through his social media posts made it clear that William Ruto was about to eliminate him. On May 6th, 2016, his bullet-riddled body was found lying in a pool of blood along Ngong Road.
Mei tarehe 5 katika barabara ya Lenana saa 3:30 za usiku. Milio ya risasi yasikika kwa mujibu wa baadhi ya watu waliokuwepo. Dakika chache baadaye, gari aina ya Mercedes Benz nambari ya usajili KAL 007W lapatikana pembeni mwa barabara. Ndani ya gari mwili wa mfanyabiashara mashuhuri Jacob Juma Lukoba mwenye umri wa miaka 45 ukiwa na alama 7 za risasi.
He died at a time when he was exposing serious corruption scandals and political betrayals within the government. His relatives and the opposition at that time blamed senior government officials for the death of Jacob Juma, and Ruto's name surfaced in this matter. Finally comes the death of Chris Musando, the man who was entrusted with Kenya's rural IT infrastructure. He was found murdered days before the 2027 general election. His killing raised a lot of red flags on election rigging and the chilling elimination of election truth bearers.
The murder of Chris Musando, who was IBC's IT director, is a cold-hearted crime that goes very high up. IBC and Jubilee are partners in this murder.
Fred Matiang'i, who was the Interior Cabinet Secretary during that time, and with access to security and intelligence classified files, is now threatening to spill the beans and bring the truth to light. If there is any killings, any information that was hidden about these killings, then Matiang'i is about to spill the beans. But what does this really mean for William Ruto politically? Number one, to William Ruto, this portrays him as a man with Kenyan's blood on his hand and unfit to hold the office of the president. On the other hand, to Matiang'i, this depicts him as a whistleblower and not a victim, as the William Ruto Samoei camp is trying to portray him. In your own opinion, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section below, let me see what is your thoughts on this move by Fred Matiang'i to spill the beans and reveal the real faces behind the most controversial extrajudicial killings in Kenya during the Ruto regime time. Let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. And if you have watched this video to this end, kindly subscribe if you are yet to do so, like this conversation, and also press that subscription button to help this channel reach a wider audience. And thank you for those who have already done that. Until next time, this is Siasa 254.
What the hell can this Rigathi Gachagua do that he can take power through an unorthodox means? Gachagua must be arrested as early as tomorrow.
Why is the country angry?
And I will not stay silent regarding Gachagua. Hiyo supermarket ambayo imeharibiwa jana ni supermarket imeajiri watu wa Embu.
Maduka kuvunjwa na tunasema yote ikome, na yule naibu rais wetu wa zamani ambaye aningatulia kwa ofisini kwa kufukuzwa akamatwe apelekwe mahakamani.
Hello and welcome. If there is one political mistake that William Ruto has ever done in his entire 5 years of politics, is the attempt to destroy and politically finish his former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2022 general election, over 5 million votes from the Mount Kenya region helped William Samoei Ruto clinch the presidency, courtesy of Rigathi Gachagua's influence in the region. Today, as we speak, the same region is slipping away from the grip of William Samoei Ruto. Since his impeachment, Rigathi Gachagua's political muscle has not only remained intact, but it has grown from a regional mobilizer and is slowly transforming into a national figure. His name, as we speak now, carries weights across counties, and his messaging has grown beyond the traditional gamer stronghold. Listening to the members of parliament debate yesterday in parliament, one could clearly depict a well-choreographed plan being hatched from William Ruto's camp. The plan is not political. The plan is personal. And the aim is to arrest Rigathi Gachagua and link him to the 25th June Gen Z protest that resulted in massive destruction of properties countrywide.
The country is angry because the youth do not have a job. The country is angry because there's overtaxation. The country is angry because the government has refused to listen to them. Yesterday it was Raila. Today you are saying it's Gachagua. What I want to tell you is this. Unless we address the core issues affecting this country.
Shame on you, Chief Justice Maraga. You're currently on pension paid by the government. They pay for your cars, they pay for your gardener, they pay for your cook, and then you go to the streets to demonstrate and mislead our children, to destroy people's properties. Shame on you.
I want to say this in conclusion finally, that what happened yesterday was an attempt to take over power unconstitutionally, to do a coup on the governance, on the government of the Republic of Kenya. We lost an election as ODM. We disputed the election. We went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court told us you have lost the election. We abided by the decision of the Supreme Court. We never attempted to overthrow the government. What the hell can this Rigathi Gachagua do that he can take power through an unorthodox means? Gachagua must be arrested as early as tomorrow.
Yule ambaye anaandaa maandamano ni yule ambaye alikuwa naibu wetu wa rais akang'atuliwa kwa kufukuzwa ofisini kwa kuwa mkabila, na anajaribu kutumia kabila lake kuleta taharuki kwa kutisha na kuharibu mali ya wale ambao pengine nafikiria hawamuungi mkono kisiasa, ili atumie umwagikaji wa damu wa vijana wetu majenzi ili kunusura jahazi lake la kisiasa ambalo tayari limekwisha zama.
Kwa hivyo unasema maandamano haya si vijana ambao wanapanga, ila kuna wanasiasa ndani?
Si vijana ambao wanapanga maandamano. Na hii maandamano si kwamba ni maandamano ya vijana wa Gen Z. Hii ni maandamano ya wahuni ambao wamekuja kupora, kuharibu mali ya umma. Hakuna maandamano yanafanywa hadi usiku, saa 2 ya usiku, saa 3 ya usiku, na maandamano ambayo yamekita mizizi katika maeneo ya kati. Kule ndio mijengo mingi ya serikali imechomwa, mali ya wananchi imeporwa, maduka kuvunjwa, na tunasema yote ikome, na yule naibu rais wetu wa zamani ambaye alingatulia kwa ofisini kwa kufukuzwa akamatwe apelekwe mahakamani.
In these demonstrations, ladies and gentlemen, the government conveniently allowed chaos to spiral in areas dominated by Kikuyu community. Like, for example, in Nyeri County, ladies and gentlemen, and specifically in Nyeri town, goons were allowed to loot an entire Naivas supermarket without the intervention of the police. For goons to be able to evacuate an entire Naivas stores without any police officer showing up, it tells you one thing, that this was not by accident, but it was by design. And as I always put it on this platform, that in politics, ladies and gentlemen, nothing is by coincidence. Nothing just happened like that. But everything is well planned and orchestrated. The government painted these protests as Kikuyu-led protests and violent in nature. But the question we are asking is, why will they do that? And why do they want to arrest Rigathi Gachagua and link him to the violence and destructions of property that happened on 25th June?
Yesterday was a great success in terms of the police work, even though the destruction that went all the way to almost midnight. All these goons who were brought all the way from Muranga, some of them were brought from Nyeri, some were brought from Kirinyaga, most of these goons were left in town. Some were left in Thika Road. And so as they were going back home, they caused immense havoc last night in Thika town, looting people's businesses, mugging people, robbing people in Thika town, and some on their way to Kajiado also caused a lot of havoc on their way. So, and the police were really overwhelmed because now they were doing some of this work in darkness, especially some who, on the onset of this darkness, they came back to the roads to try to rob motorists and other citizens. It has not been easy when such number of goons and criminals and thieves and thugs and robbers are concentrated in one area, collected by these politicians. It's not easy for the police officers to be able to maintain law and order.
Before we dive too deep into this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Take 1 second, hit the subscription button, smash that notification bell, and also press the like button. By doing like that, you help me to reach a broader audience, which is my main objective on this platform. And thank you so much for those who have already subscribed to the channel, because without you, ladies and gentlemen, this channel could not be where it is. A very big thank you from me and the entire team here at Siasa 254. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, the plan of the government is to set Rigathi Gachagua against the Kikuyu business community people by blaming him for the pains these businessmen have suffered in the destructions in Nairobi and other Kikuyu-based communities. We all understand, like for example, in Nairobi, ladies and gentlemen, most of the businesses are owned by the Kikuyu. And so, by blaming Gachagua for the pain that was felt by the businessmen in Nairobi CBD and other Kikuyu counties, ladies and gentlemen, the government's intention is for the business people to stop supporting Rigathi Gachagua either financially or on the ground.
If this person claims to speak about, for Mount Kenya people, this is the time we want to hear about those people who lost businesses in town, those people that have suffered on the speaker. And there is no question about it. Honorable Rigathi Gachagua must be arrested. And all the politicians that work under him, they should be arrested and investigated, because we saw some of them moving around and claiming that they are supporting this movement called Gen Z, which is a lie, Honorable Speaker. There is no movement called Gen Z. These are criminals. There is nothing like that. There is nothing called Gen Z, Honorable Speaker. Those are people who are hiding behind a generation.
But we are tired of your style of politics. You look at what has happened in Nairobi. Who is suffering today in Nyamakema? Who is suffering today in Kirinyaga Road, River Road? Sini watu wetu, jameni. So how can you claim to like your people, to support your people who you proudly call my people of Mount Kenya, and yet you are the one leading in destruction of their own businesses?
Secondly, the plan and the aim is to erode the credibility and legitimacy of the future Gen Z protests by labeling them as chaotic, destructive, and tribal in nature. By arresting a top political figure and linking him to the destructions on 25th June, the government intends to instill fear and suppress the youth movement. That, and this is the biggest objective of the government, ladies and gentlemen, in all this chaos in demonstrations, The aim is to divert the public attention away from the ongoing and rampant police brutalities in the country. The government knows very well that it has already lost public trust, and if not the entire trust, severely lost public trust. And instead of accountability, the government seeks this distraction of attention. By arresting Rigathi Gachagua, it will dominate the headlines and shift the attention of publics from questions on abductions, police shootings, and matters that have been orchestrated by the state. This is not just a political drama or a video, ladies and gentlemen, but it is a very dangerous game that is going to cost William Ruto the votes of Kenyans that made him the president in 2022. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to see what's your view on the plot to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. Why do you think the government want to arrest Rigathi Gachagua and link him to the destruction of property that happened on 25th June 2025? Let's see that in the comment section below. And if you're there and you're watching, you're yet to subscribe, kindly hit the subscription button, smash notification bell, and also like this video. Let me see you in our next video. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Siasa 254, your #1 Kenyan YouTube political channel where we unpack Kenyan's biggest headlines. Now, on Sunday, 7th July 2025, hours just before the country marked the historic Sabasaba Day, there came a shocker, ladies and gentlemen. Raila Amolo Odinga, the face of Kenyan's opposition struggles for over 3 decades now, stood before the press and before the cameras and made a bold promise. He will join the people the next day at Kamukunji grounds for a peaceful demonstration during the Sabasaba Day. A symbolic return to the roots, a return to where it all began, ladies and gentlemen, in 1990, July 7th, when Raila Amolo Odinga and Kenneth Matiba, Charles Rubia, and others faced the iron grip of the then administration of Moi and demanded for the multi-party democracy in the country. But when the sun rose on Monday, the D-Day for the Sabasaba Day, the same ground where the fire of resistance was once lit stood empty. Raila Amolo Odinga did not turn up, not at 9 a.m., not at mid-noon, not during midday, not late midday or in the evening as he had promised.
Na wakati tumeweza kutoka kule juu upande wa Nairobi kule ndani, we were coming here because we were expecting to find a lot of people at this area, but right now we can see there's nobody here in this area. Ground iko very clear, totally clear. I think ni njia moja pia kuonyesha kwamba pia labda kuna vile kamechezwa hapa labda kuna vile kamechezwa hapa ya kwamba gate yote imefungwa, hakuna mahali pa kuaccess kuingia huku ndani, imefungwa kila mahali, ya kwamba hata wananchi wa kawaida hakuna mwenye anakuruhusiwa kuingia huku ndani, na hata vile inasemekana kwamba labda kuna function fulani ambayo labda itaendelea ikiendelea katika hii sehemu. Unajua kama kuna sehemu ambayo kuna function imepangwa kuendelea, unapata kwamba kumetengenezwa vizuri, viti zimewekwa, vitu kama hizo, lakini huku haionyeshi ya kwamba labda kutakuwa na kitu chochote pale.
Kamukunji grounds, the heart of defiance and resistance, was left with smokes of fires and ashes. No Raila supporters, just silence. So what happened? At around 4 p.m., Raila Amolo Odinga appeared. He emerged not at Kamukunji, but at Serena Hotel with a press preview. There, ladies and gentlemen, with the cameras flashing and the journalists watching, Raila Amolo Odinga gave what Kenyans are now calling a lame excuse. He claimed that the police officers had barricaded major roads leading to Kamukunji grounds, and therefore he could not make it to Kamukunji grounds to mark the Sabasaba historic day.
So called this press conference in order to clarify where we are today. Yesterday, I did give an interview with the media and said that today the 35th anniversary of Sabasaba. I was going to go to Kamkunji to join other Kenyans in commemorating this very important day. Unfortunately, as you all know, circumstances, today there are roadblocks all over town, which has made it difficult for people to move to Kamkunji. In the circumstances, I've decided therefore to talk to the media here at Serena.
Really? Remember, this is Raila Amolo Odinga we are talking about. The man who once faced life bullets. The man who was jailed for years without trial. You mean to tell us that after decades of Raila confronting the state head-on, that this time round he was blocked by a mere roadblock by the police? No. Kenyans are not buying into this time. And the question that is burning across social media and on the streets is very simple. Why did Raila lie to us? Has he joined the league of politicians who say one thing and do the opposite? Or has he become just like his old rival who has now turned the best ally, William Ruto? Now, before we dig too deep into this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Watching for the first time, subscription button, smash that notification bell, and you'll be able to be notified by YouTube when we create such a video and post. And also, you will help us reach a wider audience, which is our mission on this platform. And for those who have already subscribed, I say thank you so much, because without you guys, this channel could not be where it is right now. Now, reason number one why Raila Amolo Odinga failed to turn up at Kamkunji grounds to mark the Sabasaba Day is the fear of low turnout of people at the ground. Now, let's be honest. Raila's influence today is not what it used to be before he joined William Ruto. Today's Gen Z protests are organic in nature, leaderless, and are fueled by raw anger and not political loyalty. And since Raila has been recently seen warming up William Ruto's government, many people who used to support him are now feeling betrayed. So Raila Amolo Odinga may have feared that if he showed up at Kamkunji grounds, the crowds could probably be few or smaller, or it could be worse, openly defiant to him. Reason number two, ladies and gentlemen, is the fear of humiliation and public rejection. Can you imagine Raila Amolo Odinga, the once beloved Baba, who being booed by the same people who once chanted his name with the tears in their eyes? For a man of his legacy, ladies and gentlemen, that wouldn't have been just a PR nightmare. It would have been a personal political strategy. So better to stay away than to face that kind of public rejection, ladies and gentlemen. Reason number three, the ground at Kamkunji was already burning up in flames. The Gen Z protesters at Kamkunji grounds, ladies and gentlemen, had already lit up fires and barricaded the roads that were leading to Kamkunji Stadium, and were already engaging police in running battles hours before Raila's expected arrival time. It wasn't a peaceful gathering anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It was chaos. Maybe Raila Amolo Odinga, who is now more of a statesman than a street general, did not want to be caught up in the middle of the firestorm that he could not control. Reason number four, Raila Amolo Odinga had nothing to tell the people of Kenya on Sabasaba Day. Absolutely nothing. Apart from the rhetoric stories of what happened on Sabasaba, Raila Amolo Odinga on that day, he had nothing to tell the people of Kenya, and that's why he did not turn up. For years, Raila Amolo Odinga has placed himself and positioned himself as the voice of the people, the one who speaks truth to power. But in 2025, power is no longer the enemy. Power is his friend. And William Ruto is his handshake partner and a political ally. So what could he probably have said to the young and angry, overtaxed young Kenyans? Let's resist the government? Oh no, which government? The one that he's currently now collaborating with ahead of 2027? And by the way, I'll be giving out details of Raila Ruto alliance in 2027 in my next video, so stay tuned. Raila Amolo Odinga, as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, is stuck between history and reality, between legacy and his alliances. He is stuck between the people who made him a hero and the politicians who now sees him as a strategic asset ahead of 2027. And when that moment came, he backed out quietly, silently, and by not telling the truth. In today's protests, the Gen Zs come out without Raila, and the protests continue to be more successful than what Raila used to lead in the past. Today, the opposition shoes that he wore once, a time in the past, has now been taken over by Rigathi Gachagua, and those shoes seems to be undersized for Rigathi Gachagua, in that he is doing far much better in the opposition than Raila Amolo Odinga. And perhaps this is just the bitter truth that Raila Amolo Odinga do not want to accept. Ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section below, let me see what's your take on the reasons why Raila Amolo Odinga in the first place declared that he was going to participate in peaceful demonstrations during Sabasaba. Was this a genuine will, or was it a way to sabotage the peaceful Gen Z demonstrations and pull the crowds from the CBD all the way to Kamkuji to get a political score for the government of the day? Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob Nyende, and this is Siasa 254, your #1 YouTube political channel, where we unpack biggest political Kenyans headlines. Until next time, bye-bye.
During the 35th anniversary of Sabasaba, Kenyans from all walks of life, led by Gen Zs, unarmed and peaceful, went to the streets. This is not the first demonstration that has happened in Kenya this year where lives have been lost and property destroyed. Unbeknown to these peaceful demonstrators, the tired regime of Ruto had a well-organized state-sponsored militia in cohort with the police and other state security agencies to maim, kill and destroy property, and blame it on the Kikuyu community and specific leaders who are perceived unfriendly to this killer regime. This targeted profiling of the Kikuyu community and destruction of their specific business is an economic sabotage not new to the narrative of William Ruto. On the 30th day, this state-sponsored militia, under instructions and guidance from the police, were dropped in different places in the country, and mostly in the Mount Kenya region and other regions not perceived friendly to the government. They were strategically dropped past midnight, and then roadblocks were placed by the police while others was dropped early in the morning. The militia were procured by Ruto, governors and MPs allied to him. These regions include Nairobi, Kiambu, Kajiado, Kisii, Nyeri, Murang'a, Kiambu, Kirinyaga, Meru, Nyandarua, Kajiado, Kitengela, Ongata-Rongai, Machakos, Embu, and in Wote. They had clear instructions to loot and destroy specific properties under police supervision. A killer squad of 101 that works under the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, Nuruddin Haji, was armed with assault rifles and drove in a convoy of unmarked Subarus, shooting and killing innocent protesters aimlessly in the streets and estates. This squad in Subarus, hooded and masked against court orders, are disguising themselves as DCI's officers, yet we know they are not. In fact, I would like to clarify that the National Intelligence Service has procured Subarus to give an impression that this killer gang is from the DCI. The truth of the matter is that this has nothing to do with the DCI. This is the National Intelligence Service. And this squad of 101 people was formed when I was still in government. Officers were recruited from the Administration Police Unit for special training by NIS on abductions, killings, and cover-up. And this is a squad that is killing the people of Kenya. The killings and the business destruction pattern point to William Ruto's ethnic profiling narrative, which is a master with no rival. With a close coordination of PS Interior Raymond Omolo, this narrative was boosted online by state bloggers to spin a narrative. The Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen's public to shoot to kill order, coupled with assurances to police officers that the government will not cooperate with the investigators in police conduct, has emboldened security forces. Police officers are now on record threatening citizens who are in their homes, boasting of their license to kill, acting with a confidence that can only come from the highest echelons of power. Mr. Murkomen's admission that these are not just instructions from him but orders from above removes any ambiguity about where responsibility lies. It will be recalled that in the run-up to the 2007 general election and its aftermath, the narrative of 41 against 1 was a masterpiece of William Ruto. The target was profiling Kikuyus against the rest of the country. To a large extent, he succeeded, and every Kenyan knows what happened, and it is also fresh in this mind of the ICC ordeal still hanging on the neck of William Ruto today. We remind William Ruto that his ICC cases are not yet over. They have been posted after witnesses disappeared, and what he is pretending over are crimes under the Rome Statute. It is clear history is repeating itself, and the architect William Ruto is back on the deck. He is hell-bent to finish his unfinished business with the people of Mount Kenya, destroy their businesses and make them black sheep of Kenya. Despite this horrible experience, the people of Mount Kenya voted William Ruto to a man in 2022 general elections against the advice of President Uhuru Kenyatta, whom Mr. Ruto had branded as a drunkard and a useless leader. Today, the people of Kenya, and especially the Mount Kenya region, feel sorry that they did not heed to the advice of Uhuru Kenyatta. These state-sponsored militia were key in torching of various parts of the country with ease of police assistance to prefer terrorism charges on specific people from the Mount Kenya region. So far, about 50 young people are in courts in trumped-up charges of terrorism in scenarios of stage-managed crimes by the state. Again, this is a clear onslaught on the Kikuyu nation. A case in point, when a police station in Mawego in Homa Bay County was torched, the suspects for that particular crime have been charged with arson. But when a police station is alleged to have been torched in Kiambu, suspects from the Kikuyu nation are charged with terrorism charges. This is serious ethnic profiling. Last night, in Juja and Kirinyaga, these state-sponsored militia invaded various businesses. Luckily, in Kirinyaga, after Wananchi went to Sagada police station and they refused to act, saying they had orders from above not to interfere, the people organized themselves and repulsed the militia. Mr. Ruto's ethnic profiling has led to the destruction of the foreign properties belonging to the people of Mount Kenya. Maguna supermarkets in Meru, Kahawa West and Murang'a. Nice supermarkets, hotel and petrol station, and nice city in Mwea in Kirinyaga. County supermarkets in Kabati and Kirinyaga. Power Star supermarkets, Quick Mart supermarkets in Eastern Bypass, Shell and Totomin markets in Roiru, Chill Post Hotel in Gong, Boju Shop in Keserian, Homegrown Supermarket, among others, and the family bank in Kahawa and Roiro. Notably, in Meru, these state-sponsored militia tried to attack Meru dairy processing plant and were repulsed by workers. In Nyeri, they further tried to attack Wakulima Dairy in Mukurweini, and the attack failed. We urge our businesses to heighten security surveillance on their business premises and production lines, especially the KTDA, processing factories, among others. We take note that in Meru, on Sunday, the 6th of July, at an event attended by CS Kipchumba Murkomen, the MP for Bori, Mugambire Dikire, indicated that a supermarket would be attacked the following day. As sure as December 25 is Christmas, and true to his word, Maguna Supermarket was touched by the state-sponsored militia, which the MP was private to. Why hasn't Mugambire Dikire been arrested? How did he know that a supermarket would be attacked? This is selective justice. The evidence that these militias are state-sponsored is plain for all to see. Videos circulating widely show police officers not merely failing to intervene, but actively transporting armed groups who proceed to unleash destruction with apparent impunity. Uniformed officers have been seen standing guard as these groups rampage. They are in action and a stark contrast to strong statements being made by government. In Nyeri, journalists were attacked by these militias in the presence of the police. It is well documented. This is a clear indicator that Ruto is working with governors and MPs allied to him to destroy businesses owned by the Kikuyu, the Meru, and the Embu, and blame it on people who don't support his administration. This is a tactic that was used by the colonialists with the collaborators who searched earth policy and torched buildings and businesses and blamed it on the Mau Mau. This divide and rule tactic will not work, Mr. Ruto. We know that in Meru, they want to use this mayhem to blame Mithika Linturi. In Embu, they have already blamed Mkonji Gitonga. In Ketengela, Iron Gong, they want to target Senator Seki and MP Onesmus Ngogoyo. In Nyeri, they are trying to haunt Honorable Kagusha. And in Kirinyaga, they are targeting Senator Murango. We want to remind President Ruto that it is not the Kikuyus who want him out of office. It is the entire people of Kenya. Kenyans are suffering equally across the country. That is why Kenyans have said, if you, Mr. William Ruto, believe that it is the Kikuyus who want you out, then all Kenyans are Kikuyus. I want to thank the people of Kenya for standing out against this tribal profiling of the Kikuyu. The people of Kenya yesterday did wonderful by saying that the Kikuyus should not be profiled. This morning, I've seen Ruto quivering and wailing in uncontrollable anger. Mr. Ruto, excessive anger is not a solution. I want, with a lot of humility, to advise you to stop being angry. That will not help. You need to know what you need to do because you have not been listening to the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya are more angry than you are. They are angry because you have overtaxed them. There is wanton corruption. There is abductions and extrajudicial killings. There is ethnic profiling and other ills that bedevil your administration. If you want to be calm, please abolish the housing levy and give dignity to the payslip. I have heard you saying that you cannot give jobs to the young people. Please restore the dignity of the payslip. Restore the capacity of the middle class. The middle class will give jobs to these young people. Stop killing and profiling the young people. Listen to them. Stop abductions and extrajudicial killings. Abolish, disband the killer squad of 101 officers at Danudin Haji. Give hustlers the jobs that you promised them. Mr. William Ruto, you are the one who promised. You cannot cry today that you have no solution, saying that other presidents have not been able to do it. You are the one who promised these young people. Stop police brutality. Stop abductions and illegal detentions. get the hustlers from the bottom of the economic pyramid as you promised. Yes, Mr. President, we agree there were other presidents before you, as you have rightly stated, and true, they never went through what you are experiencing today. May it please you to know that the reason why Kenyans rarely had problems with them, Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta were guided by the Constitution and the rule of law. They did not capture our constitutional institutions to work for them, instead of working for Kenyans. They never killed children. They never attempted to build churches in State House. They never organized militias to destroy people's property and kill them. That is why you have a problem. And we also want to remind you that Mwai Kibaki had a difficult time from you, William Ruto. Videos are everywhere. You cannot say that Mwai Kibaki did not face resistance. It's on record that you gave hell to President Kenyatta for 5 years. So it is hypocritical for you to allege that Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta had a very easy time. Most of the problems Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta had came from yourself, and it's on record. We want to advise you that the one-term movement is not getting you out of power outside the Constitution. Mr. President, nobody wants to throw you. Nobody wants to overthrow your government. Nobody wants you out of power through unconstitutional means. Mr. President, I and the people we work with are on record. We want to remove you from State House through the ballot in 2027. This narrative you are creating that there is an attempt to overthrow your government is for you to have the opportunity to use the Terrorism Act to profile communities and to persecute leaders who are opposed to your administration. Please relax. We want you to serve your one term. Nobody wants you out of government unconstitutionally. Nobody has any plan to overthrow your administration, Mr. President. We want to face you on the ballot in August 2027. So just relax and stop crying wolf that anybody wants you out of office unconstitutionally. There is no leader here who is planning a coup, and none has the capacity. And nobody is interested. The leaders in this country, and indeed 95% of the Kenyan population, want to humiliate you at the ballot. They will relish that moment. None of them would want you to go out through any other method, unless, of course, you decided to resign on your own volition. So please stop creating this narrative. This narrative is to enable you to use anti-terrorism law to persecute leaders and to persecute the Kikuyu community. If you speak out online, Mr. President, you want to use the Terrorism Act to harass people. If you dare challenge your administration, you want to use the Terrorism Act to deal with people who are opposed to your administration. My fellow Kenyans, let us not be deceived. William Ruto has stripped away even the pretense of democracy. What we are witnessing is not the rule of law, but the rule of fear. This is not the behavior of a government that serves its people. This is the machinery of outright dictatorship. Finally, I want to announce to the people of Kenya that tonight I will be traveling to the United States of America to talk to the Kenyans in diaspora and the international community about the state of the nation. I would have wanted to stay in the country at this very difficult time when our people are under siege, but I have engagements that I'm not able to postpone. I have been threatened by people close to William Ruto, who called some of my people today, and they will want to stop me from leaving the country. I have no problem. If you want to come and arrest me at the airport, as you are threatening us, you can go ahead. I don't have a problem. You cannot sell fear to us. You know, even if you sold us fear, we cannot buy, you know. And therefore, as I'm out of the country, unless I'm stopped from going, and if I'm stopped from going, I'm still okay. I'll be here because this is my country. We have made sufficient arrangements with other leaders in the united opposition to create a pool of lawyers to come in through for our young people who are being persecuted on trumped-up charges of terrorism. And I want to explain I have heard the president saying that people have attacked police stations and the law courts. It was all stage managed by the MP for Kikuyu. How do you explain that people can walk into a police station and they are not armed and take over the police station from armed police officers? How do you go to the courts that are guarded by armed police officers and touch them? All these attacks of vital installations were stage managed by William Ruto through Kimani Ichung'wa to create the opportunity to prefer charges against people using the Anti-Terrorism Act. That is the reality. So nobody has attacked any police station. They were all stage managed by government. And what is happening is history is repeating itself. This is exactly what Moi did in the 80s against the Kikuyu community. After the abortive 1982 coup, he used sedition laws and the clandestine Mwa Kenya movement to profile the community and hold people into court, and they'll be taken by Bernard Chunga after 5 p.m. This is history repeating itself. I want to ask our people to be calm, to be cautious, looking at the scenario of what is happening and what William Ruto has planned. I want to ask my children, my sons and daughters, to consider applying the next onslaught against the President William Ruto by getting IDs and registering as voters so that they can deal with William Ruto on the ballot. Because I fear for them. Anytime they go out to the streets, they are killed like chicken. I would like to preserve to us these children. We would like to live with them. We would like to see them grow. And when we look at the desperation of William Ruto and the brutal force he is using against these children and the use of state militias to attack them, I would like to plead with them to consider, to join us, we in the opposition, by registering as voters. And in 2027, we'll be able to get rid of President William Ruto. William Ruto, finally, let me ask you a question. The Kikuyu nation, the Mount Kenya people, you call tribalists every day. These people you are waging war against, their businesses, are the same people who voted for you, even after what you did to them in 2007. They forgave you and considered you as a person they can elect as president. You have turned against the community. You are trying to mobilize other Kenyans to profile them and to fight them, but they have refused. These same people from Mount Kenya have the capacity to support somebody else. It must not be you. And they proved that they are not tribal by voting for you when you are Kalenjin. They can vote for a Kamba. They can vote for a Kisi. They can vote for a Luya. They can vote for a Maasai. That sense of entitlement that you are having to the Mount Kenya vote is misplaced. They voted for you, yes. You betrayed them. You turned against them. They don't have to vote for you again. Please stop persecuting them into submission. They will not submit to your brutality, to your vicious attack against them and their leaders. That I want to tell you for free today. I have listened to you talking with a lot of anger, calling them tribalists. They are not. How can they be tribalists when they voted for you and you are not one of them? But you don't have a sense of entitlement that they must vote for you. But you don't have a sense of entitlement that they must vote for you. You know what you have done to them and why they have reacted the way they have. And I want to assure you, you cannot scare them into submission. Even if you jail them, they will not submit. These are seasoned descendants of the freedom fighters, and they cannot be intimidated. So let me encourage my leaders here as I go away to remain strong, to remain focused, and to speak for the people of Kenya. I am I have a lot of gratitude to the Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa, who have been caught the whole of yesterday and today, standing strong and defending our young people who have been framed and charged with treason. For those two leaders, I want to give them the gratitude of my community and our leadership. They have come through for a community when it's under siege. And we are indeed very, very grateful. I want to ask our leaders here to be vigilant and to continue speaking out to the people of Kenya. Should the situation get out of hand and I need to cut my trip short and come back to join the other leaders in defending our people and speaking for them, I will gladly do so. Thank you very much.
Good. That's comprehensive.
I don't think iko maswali hata kidogo.
Labda ile watu ya Kameme iko na hilo.
Sasa ile kitu important yenye Ruto anaweza kufanya ni kunyang'anya Babu Owino security. Na mahali inaelekea sisi wenyewe ndio security wa Babu Owino. Na tukisikia Babu Owino anakohoa tu ama kitu yoyote imemfanya, utakuwa responsibility ya kujibu.
Why did President William Ruto withdraw Babu Owino's security details after the MP was cheered by the Gen Z protesters in Nairobi? Is this just politics, or is Babu Owino now a real threat to the presidency in 2027? Let us analyze this. Why is Babu Owino sending shockwave to State House and giving William Ruto sleepless nights? What does this rising star then mean to Raila Amolo Odinga's succession politics in Luo Nyanza and the Gen Z politics and the leadership in the country, and also the Nairobi's gubernatorial seat battle in 2027? Ladies and gentlemen, while the Gen Zs were protesting in Nairobi yesterday, Babu Owino was welcomed like a hero, as you can see here in this video. This video alone, ladies and gentlemen, has sent shockwaves to William Ruto and camp and his ally, and they have gone ahead to withdraw Babu Owino's security. But what does the supporters of Babu Owino say about this?
Na uliapia kwa maandamano na ukakua. Nimesikia security yako Ruto ametoa. Ati sasa ile kitu important yenye Ruto anaweza kufanya ni kunyang'anya Babu Owino security. Sasa wewe Ruto, mimi nauliza wewe, ni kama unyang'anye Raila Odinga security. Unajua siku nyingine ulikuwa umesema atunyang'anye baba security. Tukakwambia chukua yote, tutalinda baba. Sisi wenyewe ndio security wa baba. Na mahali inaelekea sisi wenyewe ndio security wa Babu Owino. Na tukisikia Babu Owino anakohoa tu ama kitu yoyote imemfanya, utakuwa responsibility ya kujibu. Utuambie, nataka Ruto atuambie ni katiba iko wapi kiongozi akienda maandamano ananyang'anywa security wake. Administrator ya Ruto pamoja na huyu Mkalenji ni internal security. Nani anaitwa Murkomen. Hizo vitu mnafanya nonsense. Fanyeni kitu ingine. Sisi vijana wa kijiji tutangoja babu. Tunajua mko na nia mbaya na babu. Tunajua mnaumwa kwa sababu babu alikataa kuwa support.
William Ruto is afraid of Babu Wino. Number one is of course the Raila Molo Odinga's succession and the Luo Nyanza politics. We all understand that for years the Luo Nyanza politics has been controlled by one man, Raila Molo Odinga, and with the growing influence of Babu Wino and the oncoming 2020 general election, Ruto is afraid of Babu Wino because he is banking on the Luo vote, and not only just the Luo vote, but William Ruto is actually banking on the ODM-based supporters' votes to couple up with his own home votes to make it to the second term in 2027. So by Babu Wino emerging as the alternative for Raila Odinga, and we all know that Babu Wino has been very vocal, saying that he cannot support William Ruto, and that for any person to be able to support William Ruto, then he has to suppress his brain cells.
Sio ni bed based. Mimi nilikuwa nikikampenia baba Raila Molo Odinga. Si ni kweli? Lakini ili usupport Zakayo lazima ususpend brain cells. Siwezi suspend my brain cells. Hapo niliambia baba, hapo naye siwezi mimi nakuheshimu, mimi nilikukampenia, lakini siwezi support serikali ambayo inadhulumu maisha ya wananchi ya Kenya.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2027 is approaching, and we have seen the Raila Molo Odinga that people always called him Baba because he used to fight for the rights of Kenyans and defend them whenever the government was oppressing them, is now in bed-based government with William Ruto. And now the people, the supporters of Raila Odinga, a majority of them are not for the bed-based government. And therefore, they have been thinking of who can we follow, who can we revolve around now that Baba is in bed-based government with William Ruto. They first went to Orengo, but Orengo surrendered and betrayed the people. But now by Babu Wino emerging again, this is not just something that William Ruto can be comfortable with. Reason number two, ladies and gentlemen, is because of the Gen Z politics and leaderships. Leadership, I mean. We all know that the Gen Z is going to be a very critical player in determining who becomes the president in 2027. Because remember, the Gen Zs will even go ahead, apart from themselves deciding who to vote for, most of them will control their parents to also vote where they want to vote. And therefore, Babu Wino, the way he was welcomed by the protesters who are the Gen Zs, it means that he can rally them towards the cause. And if he is not supporting William Ruto, then it means that he's going to spoil for William Ruto and Raila Odinga. And the last reason, ladies and gentlemen, why I think that William Ruto withdrew the security of Babu Wino is because of the Nairobi politics. In the last election, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto became the president of the Republic of Kenya because he was voted in by the Kikuyus, who are the majorities in the city. You cannot become a president who cannot command the capital city. For you to be the president, you have to make sure that you win the support of Nairobi County. And therefore, with the falling Sakaja, Ruto is in panic because Babu Wino's influence in Nairobi has grown beyond any other person's stoppage. Nobody can stop him at this time. And this gives William Ruto sleepless nights, ladies and gentlemen, because he wants to clinch on Nairobi when he succeeds to go for his second term. So the politics of Nairobi, the Sakaja and Babu Owino is making William Ruto scared. And that's why he is trying to intimidate Babu Owino by withdrawing his security. And like Okanga says, that even if he withdrew the entire security, then the people of Nairobi will become the security personnel and details for one Babu Owino. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the reasons why I think the security of the MP Babu Owino was withdrawn. In the comment section, let me see what you think about the growing influence of Babu Owino not only in the city but also in the Luo Nyanza. Do you think Babu Owino can become the successor of Raila Odinga? Can he become the kingpin in waiting for the Nyanza region? Because Orengo has surrendered to William Ruto. Raila surrendered, but Babu Owino is still standing. Let me see your take in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time in our next video, this is Siasa 254. Subscribe, like, and comment to support us to reach a wider audience. Until next time, bye-bye.
Na nimetoa pesa 2.1 billion ya barabara ya Nairobi. So mutapangana na yeye, hiyo pesa imekuwa release tayari na barabara tutawajengea hapa Nairobi. Tumekubaliana jameni? Watu wa Nairobi tumekubaliana? Na tumeelewana? Tunataka amani Kenya. Tunataka watu wafanye biashara. So mtu ambaye anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu mwingine, mtu ambaye anachukua moto, anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu, anaenda kuchoma mali ya watu wengine, mtu kama huyo apigwe risasi miguu, aende hospitali, akienda kotini. Yes. Yeah. Wasimuue lakini wapige hii miguu ivunjike ndio aende kotini, aende hospitali, akienda kotini. Hapana. Hatuwezi kukubali mtu.
President Ruto says we have no plan. We have a plan.
What I'm about to say may sound insensitive, but this is the truth. Parliament is 2 kilometers from State House. For the first time since 1962, Parliament was overrun. What happened? How did we get here? Who knew what? We have swept too much under the carpet. It's now time to lift that carpet and be truthful in the way in which we deal with the country. Whether we start with Musandu, we come to Jacob Juma, we come to Kenei, we come to Rivayala and everything else. Let these things be investigated by an open public inquest.
Ever since the former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i made his 2027